Hello, my name is Daniel Scuria-Herman, and today I'll be watching this video. I saw it was trending for a little bit. It's about the world's most strict jail, and it's from a channel I've never heard of. I think it's a channel from El Salvador, which is interesting because it's not. I was worried it might be like in a different language, but there's this cool feature where there's different audio tracks, and I didn't know that was. Well, I heard about it, but I've never actually watched a video because I played a little bit of it.
Next, we will enter an isolation cell, which
That's weird. and then I looked at the audio tracks and I saw Spanish original. And I was like,
a continuación entraremos a un...
that's in sync. So yeah, this will be interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the whole thing, but I don't know if I'm gonna include the whole thing in this video because it's a bit of a long one. But I also saw on this channel. He looks like he does a lot of stuff like this, so I recommend checking this guy out. And yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into it.
Next, we will enter an isolation cell, which is where prisoners are sent when they commit an infraction. The only light entrance is a hole in the ceiling. How many people did you kill?
I do not remember.
How many were there?
We have committed different crimes at different times.
Absolutely everything is done in here, from going to the bathroom to cleaning up. Everything is done in here open. This group behind me alone is very...
It is crazy that how few human rights prisoners actually get. You know? Like, if you think about it, okay, yeah, they committed a crime and they should be punished for it, but how far does it go? You know, like, I think that, I don't know, punishing them by taking away any ability for privacy or humility, I think that's just, it's a bit far. I think they're going to bring up isolation again, but that's also got its own fair share of problems.
We are in El Salvador, and today we will enter the Terrorism Confinement Center, the largest prison in the Americas with a capacity to house about 40 prisoners, of which today a significant percentage are dangerous.
40,000. It's insane that any facility can house 40,000 people. Like, something like this, of this magnitude, is just almost unfathomable. And by definition, it's inhumane to house this many people in this close proximity. I know that they're murderers, but, well, not all of them, obviously, but I don't know. I think that the main goal of prison should be for rehabilitation. And if all you're doing is just torturing, that's not rehabilitating them. That's just inflicting suffering on others, and you're no better than the people who committed these crimes.
It is even very interesting that the prison is built with a technology that does not allow a telephone signal, so that nothing really...
Oh, it blocks signals too. That's smart. Because, like, there have been cases, right, where they smuggle cell phones in. There was this whole thing. I watched a video from Leon Lush about these prisoners who make TikToks, and it's so hard for me to wrap my head around how they're able to get phones through security. Yeah, blocking off signal. Wow, I wouldn't even thought of that, because it's so weird that prisoners would even be able to have phones, but I guess it's to also prevent visitors from communicating with the outside world, which is terrifying, because what if something goes wrong? It's probably landlines or something, but I don't know.
Oh, by the way, we are able to enter to document with special press permits, but we do not really admit any type of visit.
People, so there are no visitors. So they get no visit. So it's maximum security prison. So they get the press permit. I'm surprised they even got a press permit, to be completely frank here.
Their liberty in these types of prisons, specially designated for terrorists, are not entitled to any visits.
Wow.
Nothing about, I want to see my mom, I want to see my wife, my daughter, nothing. You lost that right because of the decisions you made in the armory. You have guns, of course.
So someone's falsely accused and they get sent here. For 20 years, they're deprived of any human contact. They could be in isolation. That's terrifying.
To control in the event of a riot or similar situation. To date, there has not been one.
It has never been a riot? I wonder, like, what security measures they have to prevent riots then, because I feel like any prison is going to have a riot eventually, no matter how well they can quell it. So, it's almost scarier that they don't have riots.
And look, these are the hand and foot cuffs that are placed on prisoners
They
who
have
have
foot cuffs. I rarely see foot cuffs. I was talking the other day to a friend of mine. Whenever handcuffs are brought up, he always talks about like ankle cuffs, and I've never seen that. But yeah, I guess maximum security you have to have ankle cuffs, but because you can always run away.
have to leave their cells,
That's
whether for food, exercise, medical care,
and they
etc.
have the handcuffs tied to the That's maximum, alright. It's earning its name a maximum security prison.
You don't leave without a pair of these. This is a surprisingly light but sturdy bulletproof vest.
Going back to the audio track,
Care,
is that
etc.
Foley?
You don't leave without a pair of these. Medical care,
Okay, so
etc.
325. What does it sound like in the original audio track?
Hacer ejercicio para recibir atención médica, etc. No se sale sin un par de estas. Este es un
Okay. What is so? Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but
a pair of these. This is a
it just sounds off. I guess they removed all of the audio, so it sounds like too crisp. I don't think it's added in later. The idea of audio tracks is astounding because that's a lot of effort, and he got a lot of views for this video, so it's understandable that, and it's good that he puts effort into it and he gets it back. But wow, I'm happy that he because otherwise I wouldn't be able to watch this video if there wasn't an English version.
This is a surprisingly light but sturdy bulletproof vest. We are already inside one of the modules that has 32 cells, of which each one
I heard a
has
rumor. I don't know how true this is, but I heard a rumor that my dorm, this one, the one that I'm in right now, was designed after a prison. I'm not too sure about that. I don't feel too imprisoned.
capacity to receive about 100 people deprived of their freedom. Although these numbers may vary, it is very shocking to see it up close.
It is scary that prisons actually have like minimum capacity. Like maximum capacity isn't as much as an issue as minimum capacity, where they will they will not like grant prisoners parole simply because they have a minimum capacity to stay running, which is scary because it's like a thing like just to stay funded, which means that for economic reasons people can be deprived of their freedom that they earn through rehabilitation. That's that's just like horrifying to me. And I don't know. I there's a lot of reform that needs to happen in the world, and I think prison reform is definitely a big one of the things that needs to change.
Criminals sleep in a four-tier bunk system without any kind of mattress, and once people enter here, they will not leave until they finish their sentences. We're talking about criminals here with sentences.
No mattresses. That's just cruel and unusual. That's not even like a punishment. Like the cell is a punishment. Living with all those other people is a punishment. Just no mattresses. That's torture. Yeah, for 30 years or life, you just sleeping without a mattress, that will permanently affect you. That will permanently harm your mental and physical health. That's not what goes on in prisons is just deplorable in every sense of the word.
Another shocking fact is that the lights are never turned off here, not even to sleep, which makes you completely lose track of time. There are no clocks.
In a lot of movies, there's a whole like lights out thing, but in my experience, like there was never lights out. So, uh, yeah, I guess it does make sense to not do lights out, but I also think that's kind of inhumane. Like if for a longer period, like these guys, I think that keeping the lights on permanently is just, again, just torturous.
They are given a sheet, they are given their uniform, and they are given a towel. You can see that some choose to cover themselves with the sheet and put the t-shirts over their eyes to keep the light out so they can sleep, and still others choose to lie on their towels. We are now witnessing a cell
What
extraction.
I've seen prisoners do is, I guess, I don't know if they were technically prisoners, but what they did was, they asked for more toilet paper. They tricked like the correctional officers into thinking like they ran out. And what they did is they took the roll and they just like made beds out of it. They made like, oh, they took the sheets off the roll and then just laid it out into beds. Which is, I found that quite ingenious of a solution to that problem. But towels and shirts, yeah. It's sad that. I feel like you can have a maximum security prison, but you can also still give them human rights.
Talking with a guard, I was just given a piece of information that shocked me, and that is that this group alone, which is behind my back, is very possibly directly or indirectly responsible for more than 200 homicides. What a blood-curdling piece of information. Once they are formed and the perimeter is protected by guards, their
Don't say that
handcuffs
too
are
loudly.
removed so that they can move freely and thus exercise.
It is terrifying that people are capable of acts of murder. I still just like it's vomit inducing to me that that's possible for a human mind to do that. And just that group of guys, 200 it's awful. It's awful.
And if seeing all these images, it is easy to suddenly be moved, to touch your heart, to say, wow, what harsh mistreatment inside the prison. But when you learn of the inhumane atrocities they have committed,
I don't know. I think I get the point that he's trying to make here, but every human, as long if you're human, you deserve human rights, and I don't think there's anything a human can do that strips them of that. I think that yes, you should be punished for the things that you do. Yes, there should be consequences for your actions. Yes, there should be maximum security prisons. But at no point should people lose their human rights. Yes, they should be locked up. Yes, they should be rehabilitated. Yes, they should be re-educated. But they shouldn't be tortured, because there's no point to torture. I understand that he's trying to say, like, yes, these people are not good people, and they don't deserve, like, good things, but I think they still deserve human things.
next we will enter an isolation cell, which is where the prisoners are sent when they commit an infraction. They are always locked with a padlock and basically consist of this space in which they have a cement slab, they have a tub of water with a bucket, they have an access to drainage, and they have a bathroom. The only light that you have is a hole in the ceiling, and depending on the severity of your infraction, the number of hours you have to spend here will be defined. I can tell you that it is a very claustrophobic sensation, very dark and echo accompanied.
The thing is, with solitary confinement, it has never proven to be an effective punishment. It damages the psyche of any prisoner that goes in there, and shuts them off, like, socially. And there have been studies where the prisoners that are released and go out into the wild, go out into the brave new world, back into freedom. there have been studies that once they do that, they just can't re-enter society because they're stuck in this sort of solitary mindset, and a bunch of them actually end up killing themselves, which is, if anything results in murder, it doesn't matter if this person killed 200 people himself. If anything results in murder, it needs to be reevaluated. It needs to be reconsidered, because murder is never the right answer. And murder of oneself, so forcing someone to kill themselves, it's an unjust, abhorrent. It's not even a punishment. It's just torture, because no matter what they've done, they don't deserve that. Solitary confinement needs to be a thing of the past.
By a silence that weakens anyone, a very serious punishment. I do not want to imagine myself in a situation like this in which I would be locked up in this cell. The isolation cells have this hatch through which food is passed, and likewise with this small window through which you can supervise the person who is in there. You can close the door and check. Right now we have the camera light on. Turn it off, it's completely dark, right? This is a traumatizing experience.
It is. The prisoners legitimately get traumatized from this, and they don't recover, and nothing in a rehabilitation center should ruin the rest of your life, because then it's not a rehabilitation center, because then there's no point in keeping you there, no point in trying to bring you back into society. The entire prison system needs to be reformed.
If we talk about the food, they serve 3 courses of food. I asked to taste the breakfast, that's what I'm going to get. Now we can see that it consists of rice with beans, cream, and 2 tortillas. They tell me that breakfast and dinner is usually the same. It is usually the same dish. And at lunchtime, maybe they can serve some pasta. Maybe they can serve a rice with a different preparation, but they never really eat chicken or meat. That doesn't exist here. That doesn't exist.
So they're like vegan? They keep the prisoners I don't know. I go back and forth on like vegan or vegetarianism, because yes, it's healthy, but you also need protein in your diet. Humans are omnivorous. You need protein in your diet, and it's hard to maintain a steady balance of protein in a vegetarian diet. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not eating healthy either, but to eat healthy, meat needs to be in some way part of it. You didn't say how the food tasted, but it looks fine. A lot of people talk about like prison food, or like, I don't know. That looks better than most of the prison food. At least there's one plus, that the prison food looks alright. It looks better than most of the prison food that I've seen.
It is very sad to hear these stories and to know that it is the case of many of those here who committed horrible crimes when they were just children. Their environment got them involved in gangs. The society they grew up in made them believe that this was the right path. Yes, it's very hard. It's very sad. And I mean, whatever time you're watching me, you may think that the gang is your only escape. There's always another way. And you don't have to look for the easy way out.
I wanted to finish. I wanted to wait for him to finish before I added anything onto that, because that was a very powerful message. But yeah, there's a reason why there's very big populations of certain like demographics in prison, and that's just because gangs and other crime organizations are so heavily integrated into those cultures now, because of what they had to do in the past to just get by. And now it's so integrated into their cultures that they get indoctrinated into these gangs as children. And it's really hard to find any way to fix that, to say, because you have to punish them, because they did, like, these people, that group of 20 people killed 200. You can't just say, oh, I'm sorry that the culture is like that. No, you have to punish those people. They did horrible, inhumane acts. But there's a reason why they did it, and it's sad to think about, because it's an inescapable part of the system where they have to join these gangs because it's part of like their culture, their family, their neighborhood. But then if they do, they get punished for it, and I don't really see a solution for that. I don't really see a way that we can stop that, because we could try to re-educate, but gangs will always exist. You enact prohibition, speakeasies appear. Crime will never disappear. You have to find ways to try to steer people away from it, but it can never completely go away. But given time, anything can happen. So I just don't know the solution right now, and it's a difficult problem because it's a multifaceted problem, and to look at this maximum security prison and see the life of them and these prisoners that have to go through all this, it's sad, because most of them, they did it when they were young, like he was saying, and they just had no other choice. And I wish there was a way in the system that we could provide them that other choice. This was yeah, I expected this to, I didn't expect this to be a fun video, but I expected it to be cheerier. Yeah, the system has problems, and it's up to us to fix them. And I believe that if we get enough support, we can fix them. But anyway, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see the complete video of the life as a prisoner in the world's most strict jail in the El Salvador CECOT, I recommend you check out this channel. He looks like he's a very interesting documentarian, Luisito Comunica. I recommend you check him out. I might check out more of his videos in the future. Let me know if you want me to. Yeah, this was very I don't want to say it's fun because it was kind of depressing, but it was very interesting. It was a very well made video, and yeah, I hope that you got something out of this. Yeah. There's nothing I have left to say. So until next time, adieu.